Welcome. My name is Sandra Leon Barth, and I will be hosting this workshop today as part of the Fall 2020 Virtual Study Abroad Fair. And the topic of the workshop, as you can see on the slide, is Steps to Interning Abroad for Credit. So I do work with Experiential Learning, as I mentioned, and we are the main internship co-op program at UCF. It's a centralized program. So we have support and we can assist students from every major at UCF. And particularly when you are doing an internship, whether it's local or abroad, and you want it to count for credit, we are an office that can help you through that process. And I will be discussing that in more detail, as well as telling you a little bit about the internship abroad programs that are available, the process, and showing you some examples from student experiences that have done these internships in the past, so that you can get an idea of why they're beneficial and so on. I definitely encourage you to ask questions. I'll pause on certain slides just to see if any of you have any questions, so feel free to ask those. And again, if you wanted to turn on your camera and participate, this is a workshop, so I definitely encourage that. So up to you. But during the presentation, it is always good to, if you could just keep your mic muted so we don't have any disturbance. Okay, so let's get started. So what we'll cover, steps to interning abroad. Why should you intern abroad, right? I mean, that's probably a question that you've either answered for yourself, or maybe you're in that exploration phase where you're trying to figure out if it is something that you want to set as a goal. So you're doing your research. So that definitely knowing your why is important. And there are many reasons that, it's a benefit to intern abroad. Deciding on a program, that's a big decision, huge, right? Location, location, location. Students will want to choose this carefully, whether it's choosing a place because it's a dream location that they've always wanted to visit, or maybe they have friends and family in that location. Perhaps it's a location where you're working on that language that's spoken there, so you want to take that a step further by actually interning in that country, and learn the language even better while you're there. And we're going to cover preparing your application, a resume and an essay or a statement of intent. Those two things are definitely necessary as part of the application process. So having those ready, and those take work. You want to have a perfect resume when you supply that to the provider or to the program. And you definitely want to be very intentional with your statement of intent or your application essay. We'll, of course, be covering the credit piece, and we'll touch briefly on budget and scholarships, and then, of course, any questions that you may have. Okay, so answering that question, why intern abroad? Well, the beauty of actually interning in another country versus study abroad, both experiences are phenomenal. So I definitely encourage you to explore both paths. But the beauty of interning abroad is if you were hoping to participate in some sort of internship or part-time job or work experience while you were in college, interning is really a fantastic way to gain experience that's related to your major while you're still a student. So it's really preparing you strongly for your professional path. And when you're interning abroad, you're sort of killing two birds with one stone, so to speak, because you are immersing yourself in another culture while also building your resume, gaining that relevant experience. So again, you're learning about a new place, you're having that exploration experience, cultural exposure, growing your global competency, all while also building on your professional skills. Okay, so it's very much a dual type of experience, and it helps you gain a plethora of skills simultaneously. So it's a really good experience to have. confidence and independence. I can't think of a better way to grow your confidence and to make you a more independent individual. You know, while at college, again, this year has been so different, and you may or may not have been able to really get that sense of living an independent life, or, you know, going out there on your own and having new experiences and so on. Because again of how this year has been, right? But when you are in another country, you can't help but be independent, because you're likely not going to know anyone else, maybe besides the program coordinators and so on. So you're sort of forced to dig deep within and rely on your resourcefulness and your independence. That in itself, like conquering those obstacles of exploring a new place and figuring out how to use the public transportation system, and, you know, learning new places and how to get there, and working with different currency, and all of those new experiences that you have to navigate when you intern abroad, that is going to build your sense of confidence and your sense of resiliency. So for that alone, it's a phenomenal experience. Definitely cultural awareness and adaptability. There's no better way to really hone those types of skills than to be immersed in a place. So you're going to experience the cultural aspects of that place firsthand. You know, when you eat at a cafe, or, you know, order from a menu, taste the food, listen to the music, you know, see the events that take place. For the internship experience, you'll also be learning those nuances in the professional workplace. So the kinds of like interpersonal things that may be unique to that culture, you'll be learning those things. That's definitely going to help with your cultural awareness. And it helps make you adaptable. When you're in a new place, it's a survival instinct to be adaptable. So you'll draw upon that skill, and you'll definitely be polishing that skill that you have. The beauty of an internship, it also allows you to try out a career field. So, you know, say you're a marketing major, you know, there's quite a few different directions a marketing major could take their degree. You know, they can work in a variety of industries. So doing an internship, whether it's at home or abroad, is going to give you that taste for a certain industry and a feel for whether that's the right fit for you and the right direction to take your career. So, you know, even if you do an internship and realize that that isn't the field for you, or that isn't the industry that you want to continue into, that's still a worthwhile experience to have had, because that way you've eliminated an area and you get closer to knowing what your best fit's going to be. This is also, like, interning abroad is also going to help you create an international network. You've probably heard that it's important to build your network. Well, wow, you're going to take it one step further, because you're now going to have contacts in professional places that are in another country. So again, that global network that you'll be building. And let's not forget F.U.N. It's going to be fun. It's definitely a fun experience to travel. I'm guessing that all of you in this session already love travel, because that is definitely a trend that I see for students that are thinking about interning abroad. They typically either have always dreamt of travel, they love it, they have that affinity to get out there and explore. I'm sorry, did you have a question? Okay, sorry. So yes, you definitely have that affinity to want to explore things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll play a video that is from one of the partner programs that offers internship abroad experiences, so that you can see why this was a meaningful experience for students to have had. Just one second, I know I have to share my computer audio before playing the video. Just one second while I do that.
It was a no-brainer. I chose FIE over another provider to study abroad with because they gave us the opportunity to choose an internship to go along with the classes we take here. Because when I go home, I'll have something on my resume that's a wow factor, and that's going to jump off a page to future employers, that it's really going to boost me into my future.
At my internship with the Rediscovery Center, they've really worked to make me feel like part of their family and part of their team. They've given me a lot of real tasks, a lot of responsibilities. I'm not just getting coffee, I'm creating content for them. And everybody here works very well together. Everybody is friendly, but we all know how to get our jobs done, and everybody just fits together like a puzzle here.
So far, I've really liked the internship experience. One of my main goals coming into the thing was to gain professional experience, and I think I've definitely achieved that. Being thrown into a new job in a new country is definitely an experience, and I think it's given me the skills to stay open-minded, and I think I'm able to adapt to almost any situation, because if I'm able to work in a different country with new people that I've never met before, I think I could almost work anywhere.
Before coming abroad, I was a very big participant in Special Olympics. So when I was interviewing for a placement internship here in Ireland, I couldn't stop talking about Special Olympics and the fact that it's, you know, a part of my heart, and I think it really wore off in a great way on my interviewer, because he kind of laughed a little bit when I said I wanted to work here very, very badly, and just showed me his notepad and saw that that was the first thing he had written down for me to be placed in. So here I am now, and it was really a dream come true, and I'm so fortunate to be able to have this opportunity here at Special Olympics Ireland.
I think people were surprised because I went to school so close to home. I didn't really have any interest in being far away from home, and going to school I started to realize a sense of independence, and that there is so much more to the world than my small corner. It's just really opened my eyes to how much that I can do as a person, or how much I can contribute to a company or to a classroom or to society. And it's just really inspired me for the rest of my future.
So I think the internship experience really has affected my experience in Dublin, because I mean, we're interacting with the FIE staff and fellow students, but when you're interning and working with actual Irish people, you really get to understand their culture and how they operate.
I really feel like I've got to know Dublin a lot better through my internship here at Special Olympics because of the calls I do make. You know, I was on the bus one day and passed the school that I had just called earlier that day. So just the fact that I'm seeing, you know, more and more of Dublin through my time here has been a really cool experience, and I'm very fortunate to have that.
But yeah, it's honestly, it's been the best experience, and I'm only halfway through it.
Okay, so that was one of the providers, FIE, and their experience in Ireland, of course. But you can see that it was a really impactful experience for those students. So just to cover what the actual process is like when you want to intern abroad, like as you go through the process of decision making and exploring programs and so on. I know it can be a little confusing because there are quite a number of programs and of course many countries that you can choose from. So just know that in the chat, I've just uploaded 3 PDF documents. Okay, so I just want to make sure if anyone wants to type in that yes, they've received them. I just want to make sure that those have gone through successfully because they are important. One is, okay, great. Thanks, Elvis. Thanks, Esteban. Oh yeah, thanks, Anna. Awesome. Oh wait, yes. Okay, good. Awesome. Thanks, Naya. So these are important documents that are going to be helpful. Maybe you already have the study abroad fair schedule. I made sure to include that there because there are a lot of things going on this week that are wonderful for you to take advantage of in your exploration phase so that you can learn more about these different programs, okay? So that is going to show you all the different meetings that are going on. There's one that comes right after this one at 1 p.m. and that is with CEA. So that's one of the program providers. You'll see them on the next slide, I think. And they provide opportunities in a variety of countries. So, you know, that would be a good session to attend because it's specifically on the internship experiences that they offer, okay? All right, so the internship process overview, that's what I have up on the screen right now. And I've also attached that as a flyer. That is a study abroad flyer, like their office has this flyer that walks you through the steps of what you would do. So the first thing, like when you are starting to get serious about interning abroad or studying abroad, the first thing that you want to do is you want to schedule a meeting, and of course they're doing virtual meetings now, with a UCF Abroad advisor or drop into their advising hours, okay? So prior to meeting with a UCF Abroad advisor, you complete the following things: submit a copy of your resume, and it gives you the email address there, discuss internship credits with your academic advisor and whether you will benefit from taking UCF credit for it. So for instance, getting credit for an internship is highly based on what your major is at UCF, okay? If you, like say you're an engineering major, you probably don't need any internship credit because there's only one major within the whole College of Engineering and Computer Science that has an internship as an elective course, okay? And that's IT major, in case you were wondering. But if you're another major at UCF, say you're a communications major or a psychology major, or maybe a political science major, those different majors actually have internship credit built into the curriculum so that you can do an internship, and once you have cleared it with your department, you can actually receive credit for that internship experience. So you're essentially knocking off one of your credit requirements by doing an internship. So it's a great thing, but it is something that you have to verify with your department. And our office, Experiential Learning, when you get to that stage, we can help you navigate that with your department. You want to definitely revise your resume and your letter of introduction. So again, Experiential Learning, oh, just one second. I have a message on my answer machine, just one second. Sorry about that, virtual life. Okay, so you definitely want to revise your resume and letter of introduction. You want to research placement partners, and we will research, UCF Abroad can help you with that, and we also will tell you about those providers. You want to then apply to the actual program, and there's on the Study Abroad website, there's actually a list of programs where you start your official application to programs. Then arranging your internship for UCF credits, again, that's where we can help you navigate that and make sure that you're signed up for the right course. We at Experiential Learning, we also have courses ourselves that you can be registered into. So say we find out from your academic advisor that you only need 2 credits, maybe you're getting close to graduating and you're only short 2 credits and they can come from internship credit, then we have an internship course that we can register you in for those 2 credits that you need, okay? So that's kind of how that piece of it would work. Then there's the finalizing of the application, and Study Abroad office is gonna help you with all of those last details. Okay, and again, that handout is in the chat, so make sure to download it or go to the Study Abroad website to download it. Okay, so when you're deciding on a program, this is going to take some exploration on your part, because honestly, nobody can tell you what country you should visit or what is going to be the best experience for you if you haven't done your own exploration and research into it, okay? So it is time consuming, but it's kind of fun exploration, because when you visit the partner program websites, you'll see that they're great stories from interns that have done experiences. They all have videos that will show you know, the living arrangements and the city, and, you know, you can get a real feel of what the experience is going to be like through the videos that they provide to you. So make sure to do that exploration, and you'll see on the schedule of events happening this week, you'll see that quite a few of these providers have their own sessions, which again, I strongly encourage you to attend those sessions. So I know Teen, I've definitely seen Teen on there. They are having sessions. I told you about the CEA session that's happening right after this one at 1 p.m. I believe Global Experiences also has sessions, and so does ISA. And all of these places have a wide array of locations that they can offer you. So that's where doing some research on their sites is going to be very important. You know, when you're making a decision on location, again, you might just have, you know, maybe you've just watched Emily in Paris on Netflix and you're obsessed with Paris and you've decided that's where you want to intern. Or maybe there is a location that is a really best fit for your major. So for example, kinesiology and sports exercise and fitness and so on, Australia is really well known for that. So if that was your area of interest, you know, there's certain countries that kind of are no-brainers. They just jump out because they have such great programs for those things. And again, you know, I'd mentioned if there was, like, say you have an affinity for a language, or maybe you already speak a language, maybe you speak Spanish and you'd love to intern in Barcelona. So you might look at program providers that offer that location, okay? I'm gonna quickly pull up the, I kind of had preset some of the providers' web pages. So this is Teen, which is the Education Abroad Network. And so they have a page on their internships abroad. And so as you can see, you can filter down by the country that you want to visit to do the internship, or you could be you know, looking at degree programs. Maybe you're going to filter down by degree program and then see what locations are suggested. You can explore their internship in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Seoul. You know, as you can see, locations, a really wide variety of locations. Here's that, you know, kinesiology and so on, again, in Australia. So yes, so I mean, lots of information. So that was one program provider called Teen. This is CEA. This is the one that has an info session following this session. And same thing. So you would go to their site and you can take a look at, you know, they have virtual internships if you're not comfortable with looking at global things just yet, or maybe you just prefer to do a virtual thing. They have virtual internships as well. And then you can check out the different programs that they have, okay? So again, like just glancing at this page, you can see a really wide array of locations. And some providers will kind of specialize on certain areas of the world. So CEA definitely has a lot of European offerings, and Teen tends to have some more like South Asian kind of offerings, as well as Australia and New Zealand and so on. And so another one would be FIE. That was the video that we just looked at. So they have internships in London and in Dublin, Ireland. And so that you would check out their page. And then there is ISA, internships in Santiago, Chile, Europe as well, Japan, South Korea. So many things to choose from. And so UCF Abroad office has, if you go to their website, you'll see the program section here. That's where all of these different abroad type programs are listed if they are a partner program. So if you scroll down And then this is what you would do as you get closer to making a decision and wanting to actually apply to a program. So that office is going to walk you through what to do next. But I just wanted to show you where some of the internship programs show up on the program list. Okay. All right. Now, if you are thinking, like say you're thinking of doing an experience in next summer, so now is actually a good time to be thinking very seriously about this, right? Because you obviously want to think about how you're financing it, your budget, getting your materials ready, like your resume and your application essay and so on. And most of the programs for summer are going to have either February 1st through like March 15th deadline. Deadlines do vary, so of course you would look at those carefully on each provider's site, but that tends to be the deadline area for summer. And the reason I'm talking about summer is that summers do tend to be the more popular semester for students to do an internship abroad, but those experiences, just so you know, they are available in the spring and the fall if those were the semesters that you were leaning towards. Okay, so again, as attached, the PDF is available for you to see, which includes all the programs that are happening this week. Okay. Just one second, I have to mute myself for a second. And so as you can see, what I've done is I've started off some of the key things that you might want to go to if you're looking at provider sessions. So you can see that there is the CEA Abroad one that I mentioned, and then there's on November 18th, there is the, let's see, oops. On November 18th, there is the, at 4 p.m., you can see ISA is doing something on international internships. And, okay, just one second. And so these would be, like I mentioned, excellent sessions to attend. And so continuing on that day, you can see there's the ISA session at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. CIS Abroad has open advising. So if you had questions about their offerings, that would be a good thing to attend. I've also made a note on UCF Abroad GILMAN scholarship presentation, because that would be very important for you to gather information to find out, you know, what type of scholarship and funding is available to do abroad experiences. And so on November 19th, you can see that ISA also has a 3 to 4 p.m. session, and so does TEEN, specifically as mentioned on sports science, kinesiology, those international internships. So those were just a few that I sort of handpicked and saw would be good if you were thinking internship abroad, but you know, there are many others that are excellent sessions that you should take a look at. Okay, and so this is actually a schedule that was done for last year's programs, but the reason I included it was because, you know, we still do have a document like this, which would easily take you to the various websites that each provider has. So if you wanted to either look on this, and you can see their websites. So FIE is fie.org.uk. Then there's teenabroad.org. That's pretty easy to remember. CEA studyabroad.com. So all of those are pretty straightforward. What's nice is each of the providers has their own scholarships that they offer. So I definitely encourage you to, as you visit their site, also check out their scholarship page, okay? Usually you have to be You have to apply more on the bit of the earlier side in order to obtain one of those scholarships. But again, I really encourage you to check out the scholarships that each of the provider provides. The reason being is the odds of getting one of their scholarships is pretty good. Like I remember once we had students applying to the FIE experience, and out of 5 of the applicants, I think about 3 of them obtained the scholarship. I mean, the scholarship didn't cover the entire cost, but it was something like $500 to $1,000 towards the cost. So it was like a nice little discount away from the full cost of the program. So definitely encourage you to take a look at that. Okay, preparing your application. Once you've decided on a program, you need to get your application documents ready, as we talked about, okay? Your resume, interest statement, and again, experiential learning, we can help you with that. So please, you can make an appointment with us. We use the Handshake system. So you can go on Handshake and you can search for my name, as you can see on my slide there, Sandra Leon Barth, and you can schedule an intern abroad appointment with me on Handshake, and we will talk about the experience that you're looking for, your major, and getting credit for that experience, okay? I'll help you navigate that. But remember that we are not your first step, okay? If you're right now just thinking about a program and you're wanting to know what's out there, your first step is always going to be the study abroad office, all right? So go definitely make that appointment with them first, and come to us when you have a better sense of the program you want to do and you're really looking for the credit piece of it and getting registered. Okay, so as you look on the program page that I showed you on the study abroad page, if you're scrolling down, a lot of the programs that you'll see might be like exchange programs or study abroad programs, but you scroll, and when you see this large, this really big, large cell that shows up, that's kind of a nice landmark to find where some of the internship applications are listed. So you'll easily find them there. Okay, so, and giving a FIE program as an example, and if you were wondering about like what the payment schedules are like. So if you read, you know, a lot of the literature under the programs, you'll see that they have like first a $500 non-refundable deposit required from the point that you accept the offer of a placement in a program. Once you're committed, then you would be, you know, each program probably has like a withdrawal or refund policy. So you should definitely read up about that. And, you know, definitely ask questions to study abroad to get more understanding of what those programs and fees and what their policies might be. Okay, so now the credit piece of it. So students are enrolled in an internship course. So if you are applying to a program and they say that they offer credit through another institution, you may want to speak to them about that, because it's usually more beneficial when you get the credit directly from your own institution, because it'll save you the hassle of having to transfer that credit into UCF, all right? And like I mentioned, experiential learning, we do have internship courses that can meet the needs of many majors, or we can help you navigate being registered into an internship course that may be directly part of your department, okay? So again, like say marketing is your major, there would be an internship course within the College of Business that you could be registered for, and we would connect you to getting that done, all right? And we do have like our general internship courses. So those are the IDS 4947 course. Latin American Studies would be the LAS 4949. And we can register you into those courses, as mentioned, for 1 through 6 credits. So again, that's a conversation that we would be having with your academic advisor to determine exactly how much credit you need. because as you can guess, it's really no fun or no benefit to be registered into more credit than you need, because that's essentially you paying for something that is not benefiting you in meeting your graduation requirements. So nobody wants that. So that's why it's so essential that we have that communication with your academic advisor so that they check your degree audit and they determine exactly how much credit that you need and you will benefit for doing this experience. Okay. Now, once you're registered for your internship course, it's a fully online web course. Okay, so of course you're going to be abroad likely, so that you're not going to have to show up to a classroom course or anything like that. But there are some assignments, of course, scheduled within the course. And these assignments are designed to help you maximize your experience while doing an internship. So to give you a sense of what the assignments look like, the first assignment would be where you are setting learning objectives or goals for your internship experience. So when you think about it, that just makes sense. That's a natural first step in an experience, right? Because you want to approach this very important experience very intentionally. And by setting 3 goals or 3 learning objectives, you are definitely going to make the most of that experience. We always encourage students to have a conversation with their supervisor to help determine what those goals should be, because only they will likely know what work they're going to be issuing to you. So it would be, it would make sense for you to set SMART goals by having that conversation with them and setting 3 realistic and measurable goals. So that's one of the first assignments. Then there would be, we will check in with you to make sure that you have, you understand like the policies of your workplace, and that you've been oriented to your workplace, and that you don't have any issues, and things are basically going smoothly. So we do have a check-in assignment for that. There's a midpoint check-in assignment midway through the semester for the same reason, just to make sure that you're on track with your learning objectives, that there aren't any major issues that you need help navigating through. Then you're also going to be doing reflection. So towards the end of the experience, you're going to be reflecting on this experience, really delving deep down into whether or not you've met the objectives you set out to accomplish, maybe talking about some of the hurdles that you faced, how you overcame them, and journaling about what the biggest learning experiences have been throughout this experience. So you're going to put pen to paper and write that up as an assignment within the web course. Okay. There's also a self-evaluation called the student evaluation, and that is laid out kind of like a survey format where you are rating how you think you've performed in certain skills and certain skills and competencies. And your supervisor is also going to complete an evaluation of how they think you have performed in those skills and competencies. So the nice part about that is, it is important for you to really reflect on that growth. And then it's important for you to receive feedback from your supervisor so that you can see what you've done well and areas for improvement. That, it's just an important process for any professional experience. Okay. All right, so budget and scholarships, like getting your budget down is an important piece of this experience, as I'm sure you all know. And so the earlier you start thinking about that, and maybe, putting aside some money or letting friends and family know that if they were going to give you a Christmas gift, maybe like put it towards your intern abroad fund, something like that, getting creative with that, but definitely thinking early about that and setting goals. So knowing the program costs when you do the research on the programs that you're interested in, finding out what that number looks like, going online to research what an airfare to that place would be around the time that you want to go. So again, you can add that to your budget. I'm sure well, I know online that you can find different information about like food budgets when you're in a certain city or place, what your sort of daily allowance for that type of thing would be. And you always want to pad your budget with a little bit of miscellaneous, because while you're in a certain location, you know, I'm sure you want to take advantage of doing some additional travel, or definitely like day trips within the city and seeing as many of the sites as you can see, because, you know, that would be definitely making the most of your time there. So here you can see an example of like MCO, that's Orlando International Airport, to Dublin's airport. You know, so sort of a range of airfare that you can expect during the time that you would do an internship in the summertime in Dublin. If you did the FIE program, for instance, the range in airfare that you can expect would be anywhere from like $675 to $1,000. But I know that students are very resourceful, and they are really good at finding discounts. So, you know, I wouldn't put it past you guys to find even better flights than that. So definitely let that inner travel agent come out. And like I mentioned, each provider program does offer scholarships. So put that on your checklist of things to do to research each scholarship available for each program. And applying early is usually going to raise the chances that you will obtain one of those scholarships. Study Abroad also has a site or a page on their site that talks about scholarship resources, so make sure to check that out. Okay, so this is some of the fun pics of students, again, that were on experiences abroad. Believe it or not, jumping in bogs, which are like these muddy fields, is a tourist attraction. It's something different and fun to do. So that was one of the outings. They went to like a peat farm and would jump in the bogs in Ireland. So I guess like when you know that's going to be one of your outings, you definitely take some old clothes along with you, right? And so definitely some lovely sights to see. So students went on trips to see the cliffs while they were there. A little bit of a spotlight on what the student was actually interning in. So Karen, when she went to Dublin, her internship was at a Viking and Medieval History Heritage Center. She was a history major, so you can see that this was a really great placement for her. The building she interned has a tower dating back to the Middle Ages. So of course that was definitely of interest and quite special to her. And it was originally founded by Vikings. And throughout that internship, she was able to have firsthand experience in museum work, which is what she hopes to pursue as a career after graduation. She helped create, distribute, and analyze a survey of customer satisfaction and feedback that would help with any additions or improvements throughout the center. By working on the survey, she was able to collaborate closely with members of the center's management and learn more about the operation of a historical center. So again, as you can see, these placements are done with care. You know, these are our partner organizations. Their intent is a happy customer. They want you guys to have the best experience. So based off of your major and based off of certain things that you're going to indicate in their application, you're going to let them know, and you will rank in order the things that you would be wanting to do and get involved in. And so they try to match you as closely to that, you know, to your dreams as possible, so that you will have the most memorable and impactful experience for your career, because they know that this is an important stepping stone for your future career. So she had lots of free time to explore Ireland's beautiful countryside. And again, these experiences are typically designed that way. Some of them will give you a 4-day work week. So Monday through Thursday, full-time hours, but you know, Monday through Thursday with Friday off. So you can have a long weekend to explore the city. Not all of them will do that, but some of them do. Or, you know, maybe they would have like a half day on Friday, again, to give you that extra time in case you were going to do some nearby travel. You know, when you're in European countries, you know, it's quite easy to hop to other countries. So, and they know you want to take advantage of that. So, you know, Karen obviously had was able to do some of that as well. So some of her most memorable experiences were hiking in the Wicklow Mountains and traveling to Northern Ireland to see the rugged coast and the Giant's Causeway. So this is a picture of that causeway, the bridge, the Giant's Causeway. All right, so fun facts, and this kind of ties into why is it important to really set your sights on these kinds of experiences. So some of the top skills desired by employers, because you're trying to make yourself competitive for your future career: written and oral communication skills, adaptability, managing multiple priorities, making decisions, teamwork, and problem solving. So when you think about how you develop these kinds of skills and what experiences you've had where you could give instances or examples of how you have these skills or times that you've used these skills, when you've done an internship abroad, you're naturally going to be upskilling on all of these, every single one, without a doubt, okay? Your written and oral communication skills are definitely going to improve. You are going to be communicating with people in another culture, so that is going to stretch your communication skills. Adaptability, without a doubt. Like we said, you're going to be living, working, breathing in a completely different environment, using a different transport system, you know, figuring out different currency, ordering differently, tasting different food. I mean, adaptability through the roof, it's going to be amazing. The managing multiple priorities, any work experience is going to help you learn that. But I think that when you're abroad and totally independent, you're also, you know, I think you're going to maximize those skills as well. Making decisions, you're going to be, again, in a new city, constantly making decisions and navigating your new surroundings. Teamwork, you'll be on a team, a global team now, you can add that to your resume. And problem solving constantly. Just the act of traveling is a problem solving experience. So again, you'll have lots of stories to draw from when you do an internship abroad. So these international internships definitely help you develop what we call all of these essential skills, okay? All right. So another fun fact, students who did internships during the course of their degrees, and this goes to all internships, you know, local, anywhere, earn a median salary of $6,680 higher than those who did not. So right off the bat, you know, if you graduate with relevant experience in your field, you are naturally going to be in a kind of a strata where you are being offered a higher starting wage than those that may be applying for the job and haven't had that experience. So you're really setting yourself up for stronger success and a stronger entry into the workplace when you get this experience while you're still a student. Okay, that's why we emphasize internships at every point. 47% of students say, looking back, hindsight is 2020. Looking back, they should have done more internships or co-ops. And so that, you know, that's when surveying students that have graduated, that's their sentiments. They really wish they had maximized their time better, having plugged into more of these work experiences through internship or co-op. Okay, so another nice picture of students interning abroad and showing you some, you know, some of the things that they get to do during those weekends when they plan the exploration time. So this is a place in Australia called the Whitsunday Islands. And as you can see, it's really quite dreamy looking. So this would be on the Gold Coast of Australia, like on the East Coast. And another beautiful shot of Australia. And so a spotlight of a student that we had that interned in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. And she, if I remember correctly, was a communications or a marketing intern. So she worked closely with Employment Heroes marketing team, experienced the day-to-day operations of an Australian company. So there you can see she worked Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, got to understand what it felt like working a full-time job in a huge city, because Sydney is like New York, right? It's their main city in Australia. So she got that big city feel, as you can see from that picture of the harbor. It's a big city. She learned to master the public transportation. She had a great mentor who took her under their wing, always willing to show something new and explain something. She was working on the company's social media platforms, and as each week progressed, felt that she was getting more and more comfortable with her job responsibilities. The office was very laid back environment, and she felt very appreciated. She expanded her knowledge and skills for a future marketing career, gained new world perspectives from simply sharing conversations with Australians or even the friends that she met. She loved the surrounding area. You know, she's got to know spots where she lived, like Elizabeth Bay, the Opera House, the Harbor Bridge, just the city in general. So she really got to get a feel for the city and, you know, feel it like it was a second home. Now, one thing I remember about her experience is this was a couple years ago when she interned, and Canva, if any of you have used that Canva program to create nice graphics for, you know, web content or social media, or even flyers and so on, that program was not as well known. And so she came back knowing that program, using that program for a lot of the social media content that she was producing. And it was a relatively like new program. She told me about it because I was reading her reports, and that was the first time I learned about it. And I started to look into it and learn the skill from her, you know. But it just shows you, like, you can actually pick up like cutting edge programs that may not have even been used yet in our workspace when you're abroad. So you get to learn new skills again that may be unique. Okay. Another intern spotlight was Jacob, again in Sydney, Australia. He really enjoyed it, worked for an HR outsourcing company called Employment Innovations. Oh, and incidentally, you usually get placed with smaller to mid-sized companies, and that's actually purposefully done, because when you intern for smaller to mid-sized companies, you often get more responsibility and learn more. So, you know, yeah, it usually turns out to be a better experience for the student. They're not doing menial tasks. They are considered part of the team and given real work from day one. So it works out really well that way. So he says after work, he would occasionally take walks through the Sydney Harbour on the way home, passing the Sydney Opera House. He traveled throughout the country on weekends, seeing some of the most unbelievable viewpoints Australia has to offer. And of course, you can't go to Australia without seeing a few kangaroos and koalas. So he was able to get pretty close to those as well. And so the biggest advice that he would give to anyone is just to do it when thinking about going abroad. Yes, it might seem scary, but the stuff that you can see and do are things you will never get back if you don't take the chance to do it. I think that's really good advice. He's been to corners of this earth that he never imagined he would ever be able to see. And if he hadn't taken the chance to go abroad. So there may be times when you miss home, and that's the reality of it. Sometimes you feel a little homesick, but the second you get back, you'll want to start planning your next trip. So that's definitely something that we see, is that students that have these experiences, they get bitten by that travel bug, and they definitely start planning their next experience abroad. Okay, so next steps: research, research, research. So you want to visit the websites, visit the sessions of these providers throughout this week. Like I mentioned, next one is at 1 p.m. I think I've said that like 5 times, so definitely try to check it out. That's CEA right after this at 1 p.m. One of the first and easiest steps is get your resume ready. You can schedule a meeting with me on Handshake, and I will help you with your resume. I'll make sure that you make it the most competitive resume possible, and make sure that you remember to add projects that you've worked on, skills that are specific to your field that the employers are going to be very interested to know that you have those skills. Like, I will pull those things out of you even if you've forgotten to include them on your resume. So we'll come up with the absolute best, most competitive resume possible. Then you'd start your program application. And this would be after you've met with the study abroad office, okay? That's always going to be your first step to do a full exploration of your options. And then once you know your program application, of course, you're going to apply for every scholarship that that program has, okay? And having a passport is going to be an important step as well, which is very straightforward because if you go to the spot on campus, it's located in the Washington Breezeway, Washington T Breezeway. That is, that's a place where you can actually apply for your passport. Okay, so GILMAN scholarship, that was one of the scholarship programs that was on the schedule for the week. And so I put up on this slide that on November 18th during the week that their session is 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure to look for it on the schedule for the week and get the Zoom information and join that session. And these are some of the program contacts if you wanted to dig deeper for some of our program providers. So FIE would be Erica Richards, Teen Abroad, Melissa Kirshner, and then CEA is Carissa. So those are their contact information. I can also provide that to you, as you go along. Okay, and then that actually brings it to the end of this session. I could definitely open it up to questions at this point. There's just 4 more minutes until hopefully you guys will join the next session, which is CEA.
I have a question. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I want to know if I could ever study or intern abroad twice, like to 2 countries by any chance. Has that ever been done before? Or?
Yes, of course, by all means. You can definitely intern more than once. I mean, the only thing that you would consider would be, whether or not you need that much credit. You can still do the experience and be registered for just 1 credit, if you actually don't need much credit to do the experience. But, what is your major? That's often going to be an indication.
Okay, mine, for example, is political science. So
political science. Okay, yeah. So that is a major that you could get credit for interning. So just through a discussion with your academic advisor, we could find out like how much credit you could potentially get and, applying that to 2 different experiences. Do you see yourself only wanting to intern? Like right now, are you a sophomore, freshman?
I'm a junior.
A junior? Okay. So timing wise, like what is your expected grad date?
2022.
Right. So, I mean, if you do you see yourself interning in a non-summer semester, or like, were you only thinking summers?
Yeah, either. I was thinking as early as this summer. So.
Okay, right. So like, say you were to intern abroad summer 2021, you could potentially intern abroad in another semester, just once it's before you graduate, right? Because you would want to still be a student ideally if you're planning to intern abroad and like be registered for an internship while you do it, that kind of thing.
Could you also, I don't know if you're going to have it posted, but could you also do me a favor and go to slide 8? I wanted to take a picture.
Oh, sure thing. Slide 8. Right.
Because I'm interested, for me, I'm personally interested in London, but I also am interested in Australia. So those are the 2 I have in my mind. Excellent,
excellent. Yeah, so from this slide, just know that the numbers, like for the cost, that might be adjusted slightly because these are numbers from last year. But each site, as you get closer to deciding on a program, each site is going to have the cost listed, or Study Abroad will give you that cost for partner programs. But yeah, this slide is very helpful because the dates, the application dates, those stay pretty much the same. And then of course the websites and scholarship pages are pretty important information as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so let me give this out. So that if you guys are participating in the raffle giveaway, there's a password, I think, given at each of these sessions. So the password is Eggs and Bacon Bay Tasmania. All right, Eggs and Bacon Bay, Tasmania is the password. Eggs and Bacon Bay, Tasmania. All right, great. And so make sure that, if you have more questions, feel free to make an appointment with me on Handshake. My name is Sandra Leon Barth. The raffle, I actually don't know tons about the raffle, but apparently it's, Study Abroad is having this throughout the week. And so each session will give you a password for that session, I believe. So Eggs and Bacon Bay, Tasmania, just write that down and then ask someone from Study Abroad about that. You could probably email them on, the handout for the sessions for the week that I shared. I believe there's an email on there, so you could probably email them asking them about that. All right. Okay, so that brings us to the conclusion of our session. If no one else has additional questions, thanks so much for attending, and I hope you enjoy many other sessions during this fabulous week of international education. Okay, thanks so much. Take care.